You're watching The Ugly Inside. Subscribe below.
Welcome to our big match preview. Looking ahead to Saturday afternoon's visit to Vicarage Road and Watford. Joining me today to preview the game is Dan, our writer from the Fanzine. Good to see you again, mate. How are we feeling? I'm still a little heartbroken after Sunday.
Yeah, I'm still cleaning up the pieces from my heart from Sunday, but now we've got to try and get up the table as much as we can with the 13 games that are left in the league.
I mean, that's right. I mean, that's what it is now. The concentration's got to go full pelt on the league. But, I mean, let's start briefly on our performance on Sunday. You know what? I was very, very impressed. I'm sure you can echo these thoughts, by the entire team. They all had their part to play. I was impressed by their fight, their desire, their determination to get back into teams come from 2-0 down. And that is something that we have severely been lacking for long periods of the season. What were you impressed by on Sunday, and what can we carry to Saturday?
I was mainly impressed by how much we wanted it way more than United. They'll be in the Cup Final again probably this year, whether it's in the Europa Cup or the FA Cup. I'm pretty sure that they'll be getting far in these tournaments. This was the first time in 13, 14 years that we've been in a major cup final, and the desire was just so much greater. The defenders were putting in crucial little interceptions in the mid-attack. Obviously, Manuel Gabbiadini's movement is incredible. And then the runs, the movement, the passes from the midfield were all spectacular. I couldn't really remember too many bad passes. I thought they were all pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, the important thing is to carry momentum really onto Saturday. And like you said, our concentration needs to be 100% on the league. Players like Gabbiadini, it's 5 goals in 3 now. He looks like the real deal. And it seems like the players are back with confidence.
He does look like the real deal, but the problem is when you've got the real deal, we can't be too reliant on one player. Obviously, he'll be starting all the games if he is fit. But what if he did have an injury? What happens then? We've got the same problem that we've had with Austin being out, and obviously Van Dijk, we've conceded a few more goals than we would have with Virgil. We've just got to remember that performance that we had on Sunday and try and be more consistent than we have been this season, and then we can really guarantee a place in the top half of the table.
Well, do you think that we can expect the same from Gabbiadini on Sunday? When I spoke to John from the Rookery end, he's certain that Watford will concede a goal.
Yeah, I think they've had the same sort of problem with us with key injuries. Obviously, Zarate's now got his cruciate ligament and is out for the rest of the season. And then they bought Pereira from Juventus, who seemed like a pretty good signing, and he's also been out for the rest of the season. They do feel like a mid-table team to me. I think we can beat them. We should beat them. But knowing our season so far, they're a team that we could just lose a bit of concentration and they can score goals and we could lose the game. Our away form hasn't been great, but we could also get a point out of it, which might not be the worst result.
Do you know what? Despite the entire team, I still feel that there could be some rotation on Saturday. Maybe 1 or 2 selections. I think maybe 9 out of those 11s are nailed on, but I think considering maybe 1 position from defender, 1 position from midfield, I feel Caceres could make his debut, and it could be an entertaining afternoon watching him duel with Dini all afternoon.
I completely agree with you there. I think Caceres should start, otherwise what's the point in having him here? Because, look, Jack Stephens had a great game, but I expect him to be the one to drop out. I don't expect Yoshida to drop out for Caceres because he's got the more experience. Stephens has had a great sort of few spells this season, and it's definitely improved him as a player, and that's great because we can then see him in the next couple of seasons improve and become a first team player. But he is the one who, for me, will drop out for Caceres. But then it's probably going to be a midfielder as well for me, whether it's Højbjerg for Ward-Prowse or even Davis for Højbjerg. Sorry, I do feel like Højbjerg's that midfielder who's sort of in and out of the team the most.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those really, because it seems like the criticism is moving from midfielder to midfielder this season. Redmond had a lot of critics a couple of months ago. Now the critics are on Højbjerg. Perhaps he's not living up to expectations, but I mean, it's a tough job to do that in his first season, though, really, isn't it?
And it is, and he's got age on his side. I mean, the lad turned 21 in the summer or the autumn, so he's got plenty of time. But he just had the problem that he came from Bayern Munich, and when you come from a club of that size and stature, you expect a really good player. And I'm not saying he's not a good player. We've seen his qualities. I remember the away game in Norwich in the FA Cup. he was sublime. Best performance I've seen, winning all the interceptions. A really good defensive midfielder, but that's what he is. He's trying to get into attack too much, and that's where he's lost his place in the team because he misses his opportunities, which he's gotten lots of because he's tried to play as a number 10, where really he should be about where Oriol Romeu is, if not just before him.
If you look at our players on paper, that's a top 6 team. That's not me. That's me being biased a little bit, but I mean, to be honest, it's great to see that despite our long-term injuries in Austin and Van Dijk, we've got ready-made replacements and the players are ready to step up. Credit to Jack Stevens this season because he has really developed into a decent player.
I don't see us finishing 7th. That is the highest we really could finish if you think realistically. Everton and above are looking too consistent. So it is a push for, can we get to 8th? Is that where we should look for, or is it a matter of just looking to get in the top half of the table, get as high as we can, then we'll take the prize money by the end of the season, most for obviously the highest position, and then look to sort of build on this season, next season, and try and get back in the top 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those as well, because typically this season we've had a great result. All right, not saying that Sunday was a great result, but it was a great performance. Then we go away the next weekend and then put in a terrible display like we did at Hull.
Yeah, after the trying to get the after the Inter Milan game, a 2-1 famous win, and then you go off to Hull and lose 2-1. That's been the story of our season so far, and that's my point. We've got to try and keep consistency now if we are going to break the top half of the table at the very least.
Let's wrap things up then, mate. Can I have your score prediction? How do you see Saturday panning out, mate?
Well, if we play like we did at Wembley, we're going to win 3-1 or 4-1 even. I'm pretty confident about that. However, if I'm basing it on the season and how results have gone recently, I would say a 2-2 draw.
Interesting one. But let us know in the comments below your score predictions. Dan, you've been great.
Cheers, Freddie. I hope to get the 3 points on Saturday.
Me too, mate. And don't forget to check out Dan's articles over on the Fanzine. I'm sure there'll be a preview and a review after the Watford game. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more.